Well, Greg, with just one game to go in the championship season, we thought we'd sit down and spend some time with you, not just to look at this upcoming game against Swansea. I know it's an important game, as they all are, even though we're officially safe now. But I just wanted to use this time to kind of look back at the season and how it's gone from your perspective as a player, looking at some of the highs and some of the lows which you and the boys have gone through, I guess. So if we could kick it off, just looking back, first game of the season, we've obviously spoken about it a lot. There's lots of photos around about Norwich game. How did that feel to walk out on the pitch in the championship? The team hadn't been in the championship for 25 years, buzzing atmosphere. How was that?
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was massive. I think that a lot of us didn't know what to expect. I think that we knew, obviously, to start the league would be really important to start it well. And obviously the atmosphere was amazing on the day. Decent weather and the fans turned up and were singing their hearts out. So it was good. And then I think that when we scored the first goal, I think that was a serious feeling for everybody. To think, okay, now we're here. Let's not just happy to be here. Let's try and stay here. Let's try and do what we can and beating Norwich obviously last year. They performed really well and nearly got in the playoffs. Or I think got in the playoffs actually. They did, yeah. They got in the playoffs. So you're thinking it's a huge game to start it off. So yeah, to win that game 2-0 was just a massive feeling, a big boost for the team.
And I've interviewed a few defenders here and there this year, but it's not always been for the clean sheets. We've had quite a few defenders who've, got on the score sheet a few times, including yourself, getting 5 goals. First goal of the season came against Preston for yourself. I wasn't too far into the season. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was great. Scoring at any point is always exciting. And I think at that stage it was probably one of our first 6 or 7 games, I think. So yeah, getting the win and securing the win was important. But yeah, on a personal note, it was nice to get on the field. I think that was some time I played probably most of my minutes so far in the season. So yeah, to get on the score sheet is always exciting, and to sort of carry on that goal scoring from last year was a great feeling. Yeah, I loved it.
And you've been on the score sheet a few times. You've enjoyed going forward, I guess?
Yeah, trying to contribute kind of however you can, and the ball, obviously when the ball drops to you, you try and do your best with it. And I think that I've had some luck this year where the balls dropped to me, and I think I've dealt with it pretty well. And some decent goals, important goals. So yeah, I'm proud of that.
Very good. And we speak to players all the time about Oxford, the next game, different things like that, but you've also been balancing international duty a few times this season, just travelling around the world.
Yeah.
How was that? How was it to actually balance club football whilst playing in those international games?
I think, obviously, I'm very honoured and proud to go and play for Jamaica and represent. I think it's important you do sort of all the professional and right things right when you're heading out there. You've got long flights, longer travel times even within the country, and obviously the games are tough and things like that. So, and lack of sleep, jet lag, all this sort of things you have to try and manage as best you can. I was used to it obviously from last year. There was a lot of times when I had to go play and then come back. I think initially was a little bit more difficult because of not playing at Oxford, so then you have to manage sort of making sure you don't get injured while you're there and things like that, because that happened last year, unfortunately. So yeah, it was just managing my body, managing sort of my sleep and schedule and everything like that, and make sure that when I do come back, I'm ready to step right into the team and help the boys, domestically as well as obviously internationally. Yeah.
And you've had lots of positives to focus on during this season, but I guess in time for me, if we're looking back at the season, there have been a few points which have been a bit more difficult. I think we had 2 main spells where the team struggled maybe a little bit with confidence and just getting the right style of football. Just how was it through those times in the training ground when we were struggling on the pitch, but the boys just stuck together 100%?
Yeah, they did. We have a very good group for that, a very tight-knit group, and football is a lot of swings and roundabouts. It's a lot of momentum. It's a lot of form, and I think there are a lot of the players, they understand that. We've got a few players, even though they're a bit younger, who've been in the game a long time, and understand that you have to stick together during these times. You have to, dig yourself out of it. No one else will, and understand that things will always swing in your favour if you keep putting the work in and you keep working hard and doing the things well and doing the right things. And I think even in both the spells, we've probably been under some pressure to get results. I think we've had that belief that we will. And also regardless of the opposition, I think that if you look at the second spell, you know, all our wins have probably come against the most unlikely opponents. But I think that's because we go into games thinking, you know, we're going to get a result here. And I think that that has sort of been something that we've seen throughout the season where we've, you know, taken on a lot of the better teams, you know, taken on a lot of the top teams. And regardless of how the results gone, not felt we were completely outplayed at every stage, which gives you that confidence to think, oh, you know, when we do play them again, this might be a game we can get points. And that confidence gives you, you know, that confidence kind of, how do I describe, that confidence is sort of instilled around the changing room, it's around the training ground. So yeah, I think that at no point do I feel we were particularly down, you know, for a long period of time.
And I don't want to talk too much about your injury, but let's focus on the positives about when you return. You returned against Sheffield Wednesday and contributed to a few crucial games. Just how was that?
Yeah, I mean, these things happen. You know, football is part and parcel of it, you know, when you're getting injured. So the main thing you can do is get your head down and try and return to the pitch as fast as possible. And when you do that, I think that it was very important to me to make sure if I was going to come back and help the team, you know, to be in a position where I could help the team. And I think that, yeah, obviously the few minutes at Sheffield Wednesday, but, you know, games like Cardiff, Sunderland, I was able to come back in and you know, and help sort of us get over the line to secure ourselves in the champ for next year. So that was, you know, I was just happy to help, honestly, yeah.
And speaking of Sunderland, we've somewhat defied the odds. We're officially safe now. We're going to be playing Championship football next season. Saturday we're Sunderland. Sunday we had the end of season awards, which was a real special occasion as well. But now we've got one more game, a sold out crowd. We're taking quite a few thousand Oxford fans to Swansea. Are you looking forward to ending the season on the high?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, you know, obviously everyone knows that the objective was to stay in the league. To get that done before the end of the season is probably a nicer relief feeling. You know, a lot of people say they like to have things to play for every game. And not to say not, because there's still the possibility of finishing higher in the league, which I think everyone's motivated to do. But at the same time, it was a good feeling to get it over the line, because it's obviously so important to so many people, all the players, all the staff, all the, you know, the behind the scenes people in a place like, you know, a football club, a place like Oxford, you know, that you want to make sure you do it for everybody. So yeah, to get it over the line for us was really important. And yeah, I think that if I'm honest, I feel like the game on Saturday will be more of a cherry on top. If I'm honest, yeah.
Greg, I love it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers.